Well, good afternoon, CSO Breakfast Club members. Bill Sieglein, America's CSO Connector. Wanted to bring some information to your attention about what's happening in the information security industry. Been watching the news lately. I saw some information about the PCI Security Standards Council. They're going to go to a 3-year cycle now for the PCI DSS. They're also going to do that for the other 2 security standards that they put out. I think that's a pretty good idea. I know it's going to give a lot of the merchants time to adhere to the new standards. 3 years seems like a long time, but it's really not a long time for each of us that has to implement those standards. We saw Bob Russo at our recent PCI Security Standards event up in Pittsburgh a few weeks ago, and Bob alluded to the fact that we would see these changes. So I think most of our members who have to comply with PCI DSS are going to find this to be a benefit. If you have some thoughts on that, please email me, bill@CSOBreakfastClub.com. I'd like to know how you think that's going to affect you, positively or negatively. Again, I think it'll have a positive impact. Something else we saw that was interesting is TrustWave just bought Breach. Breach has a web application security firewall, and they're going to integrate that technology in with their penetration testing software suite that they have and the services that they offer. I think that's a good consolidation in the industry. I think a lot of you will think so as well. We haven't seen TrustWave or Breach at any of our events this year as sponsors, but we have talked to them. Of course, we had our application security event back earlier this year, and we know that application security firewalls are an important part of a self-strategy to ensure that you have multiple layers of defense. It really is a band-aid. You really have to have a better secure life cycle for development of secure code, but in the meantime, we think that the WAFs are important. So take a look at that when you can. Look in the news for TrustWave's acquisition of Breach. The last thing I thought was really important that just came out this week, the Gartner IT Security Summit is taking place down in DC. I know some of our members are attending. I'm talking to some of the sponsors and members who are there. Interestingly enough, one of their lead analysts came out today, I guess yesterday, and said, it's really futile to try to block any of the social media sites. They say it's akin to reading a person's personal email or going through their personal voicemail. I'm not so sure I agree with that. You know that within our circle, sometimes we beat up on Gartner and some of the other analyst organizations. Some of the sense is that, well, they're analysts and researchers. They don't really live in the real world. They don't practice like we do. So I take some of that with a grain of salt, to be honest with you. My opinion is that you have to block sites that you know are going to be bringing in known malware, and a lot of these sites today do that. We're going to talk extensively about this at our upcoming series on social media security. So I encourage you to get involved in those. We start on July 15th in Baltimore. If you go to CSOBreakfastClub.com, you can check all the dates of those upcoming breakfasts. I want to hear your opinion. I want to find out what it is that you're doing about social media policy at your sites. The Gartner folks are saying just have a really good governance policy. There's really no technology to block it today. Again, not so sure that that's true. I think we can use DLP technology to make sure you're not releasing things into the wild that shouldn't be out there. So social media is a scary thing, a lot to talk about. I'll be back on again in just about 2 weeks, so look for an update till then. We'll talk to you all soon.